Hi, I'm Max, and in this video we will talk about what ADA really is. Is it a currency or is it a commodity? Now, in order to answer that question, we first need to know what ADA really is. And in regards with that, I've made a video yesterday on our channel, I will put a link which should appear above, about how ADA is in reality economic bandwidth. If you don't know what it means, make sure to watch the video, and I think it's really important to watch it because you will have a much better understanding of some of the core principles I will introduce in this video. So, what is ADA in reality? ADA at its core is money, right? It's like cash. It's cash, but with the advantage or disadvantage that you can have all the history of that cash through the blockchain. But while it's cash, because you can quickly exchange it, there are certain things to take into consideration, and one of them is that on a long-term perspective, ADA is probably going to appreciate in value, and so it doesn't really make sense for it to be cash, if you see what I mean. But we will come back to this later in the video. First, let's answer the following question: what is a currency and what is a commodity? A currency at the end of the day is simply a medium of exchange, right? Bitcoin is a form of currency. Gold is also a form of currency, even if we consider it as a commodity. Oil is not a currency. Oil is a commodity. The euro is a currency. So if you use that something in order to exchange two different goods, it's probably a currency. Now, in regards with what is a commodity is something is the good which you exchange essentially with the currency. So I'm going to sell I don't know 2 apples for €5. In this case, €5 is the currency and the 2 apples is the commodity. Gold is considered as a commodity, even if it has also certain aspects of a currency. Oil is clearly a commodity. And so the problem, and it's not a real problem, it's more like problem, right? I'm not going to complain about that because the problem is that ADA's value is probably going to increase on a long-term perspective. And why is that? It's mainly because there a ton of ADA will be locked in smart contracts. When you look at the financial applications on the financial apps on Ethereum, for example, there's a ton of Ether locked into these apps, as collateral, as a way to guarantee that you have stake in the game into the protocol by being willing to lock it up for a certain time. So there's a ton of ADA which will be locked into these smart contracts. And then besides, there will also obviously be a ton of ADA, and that's already the case right now actually, which will either be pledged or delegated. And while that's not really locked, I guess you could call it semi-locked, right? Because you're incentivized to have the following behavior, which is that to just not touch it, right? You're incentivized to leave as much ADA delegated as possible, and even if you can, of course, touch it, that's clearly not incentivized, mainly because, well, you would lose potential delegation rewards, essentially, by using that ADA to buy something or whatever. So the price of ADA is probably only going to increase as the adoption of the network grows. And so it can't really be a currency, right? Because a currency needs to be, ideally, a currency needs to have a deflationary value, and or no, not a different deflationary value, a depreciating value. So the value needs to go down on the long-term perspective, not by a lot, just a little bit. And the reason why is because if it goes up, you won't be incentivized to spend the money. And so with the economy, you will enter in a deflationary economy, essentially, because you are essentially incentivizing people to keep their money if it goes up on a long-term perspective. And you want people to spend that money. You want people to consume, to drive the economy. And that's why you need that little bit of inflation in order to keep the value going, the value of the currency going down, so that you incentivize people to spend their money. And well, ADA is likely going to go only up on the long-term perspective from where we are right now. And so that being a currency, that's highly unlikely. But on the other hand, ADA being a commodity is actually not true either, actually. And the reason why is because, well, it also has some money-ish features when you think about it, right? Exchanging oil, for example, as using oil, for example, as currency, that would kind of be difficult, right? Because you would need to take these barrels of oil, and then you would need to give me your apple, I will give you my barrel of oil. Like, that's not really, that's just not very, I guess, suitable as medium of exchange. However, and this is also, for example, the case for gold, right? That's the reason why gold is more a commodity than a currency, mainly because it's like you don't want to go on the street with, you know, your kilos of gold, and to go and try to have to cut your gold in parts to buy that apple because it's worth, you know, so many grams of gold. That's just not the way it should be as a currency. And so really gold doesn't fit as a currency. However, ADA does, right? You can perfectly use ADA as a currency. And so what ADA at its core really is, and this is not something I've invented, by the way, it really exists, ADA is in reality commodity money. And what that means is that commodity money is essentially a mix between an asset being in certain periods of time a commodity, and in other periods of time a currency, right? So when the value of ADA goes down, you are incentivized to use it as a commodity, right? So you are incentivized to accumulate ADA and to use it for its core purposes, like, for example, delegating it, pledging smart contracts, creating smart contracts, maybe creating a side chain, or these types of things. So when ADA's value goes down, you are incentivized to accumulate it and to use it for its core purposes. And when ADA's value goes up, you are instead incentivized to use the funds you have accumulated and stop using them for the core principles of ADA, for the core purposes of ADA. For the core purposes of ADA, and essentially, well, use it as a currency. And so, ADA is up, you use it as a currency. ADA is down, you use it as a commodity. And when you think about gold, that's kind of the same way of think about it. So if the value of gold is high, you are incentivized to melt it to liquids, and so you can use it as currency, right? But when gold's value is low, well, who cares about it as using as a currency, right? Well, why not make jewelry of it or something like that? Which comes back to the core purposes of gold as a commodity. And so, in reality, ADA really is commodity money. It's not commodity, it's not currency, it's commodity money. That's it. That's, if you need to understand one thing about ADA, is that it's sometimes a commodity, sometimes money. That depends, right? You have all these Ethereum maximalists saying that, you know, ETH is money, and that's not true. Ether, for example, is also commodity money, because in certain times it will be considered as a commodity to use on the network, and then on other times it will be considered as a currency because, well, you want to exchange it because it's just so valuable. And so, yeah, if you need to remember one thing, ADA is commodity money. Either way, thanks for watching this video. Please do consider leaving a like, sharing it with your friends, leave a comment if you liked it. Follow us, whether it's on here on YouTube or on Twitter. You can see our little username here on Twitter at POApool. And yeah, we tweet daily, by the way, so we have a great Twitter account. Make sure to follow us. Either way, yeah, see you soon, maybe tomorrow, we will see. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye.